guys, my name's John and I'm from Duolingo. Today I'm talking about my deck, which I call Clowntown. Clowntown is an Imperial Ivankov deck, and the leader effect for that deck is you actually you get to draw 2 cards if you have none in your hand. So pretty much with this deck you want to make sure that you have no cards or hardly any cards in your hand at the end of each turn. The first card that we have in this deck is Buggy. He's a 1-drop, 2k swinger, 1k counter, and there's 4 of him. So with Buggy, you basically bring it out in the field and you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, looking for an Impel Down card other than Buggy. You'd pick one if there is one available, and then put the rest down the bottom of your deck. The second card that we have here today is Kaya. Kaya is a 2k counter, but also a 1-drop card as well. You can play her for her effect when she comes down the field, where you draw 2 cards and trash 2. So if you have a really bad hand, she's not a bad turn 1 thing to do. We also have Alvida as well, another 2k counter. With her, I wouldn't play her on play effect when she comes in. You could if you want to annoy a lot of red decks or decks that have really low cost blockers. If you ever want to play her, you can put a dot under her, swing at your opponent, trash 1 card, and then pop a 3 or less back to your opponent's hand. The next card that we have is Bon Curry. It's a 3-drop, 4k swinger, and most importantly, 2k counter. And we have 2 of him in our deck. I wouldn't play his on-play effect for this deck because what will happen is when you swing with him with 1 dot underneath him, what happens is you look at the top 5 cards in your deck, and then you look for a Baroque Works event card, but we don't have any of those things. The MVP for this deck, we have Dol Flamingo, or Doffy as we all like to call him. He's pretty much an MVP for most blue decks. So tap 3, bring him out the field, look at the top 5 cards on your deck and rearrange them in any order you want, and put them on the top of your deck or the bottom as well. Really great for this deck because we want to make sure that we have the right cards at the end of our turn, and also we can also foresee what we're going to draw. The next card that we have is Mr. 3, or Yardino, and he's a 4-drop, 5k power, 1k counter, and we have 4 of him as well. He is a blocker. He's quite handy for this deck too. And with this card, he's also searchable via the Impel Down search. So he's one of your hits that you could possibly pick up from the Buggy Searcher. With the card itself, yes, we can block with it, but with that, what we can also do is we can trash a card at the end of the turn and then restand it if we want. So you can be aggressive with this card. You can also set up your hand. If you've got 1 card in your hand that you don't particularly want, and you know that you're going to get some good cards next, or you just want to take a gamble like I sometimes do, then he's good for that too, to get that 2-draw effect at the end of your turn when you have nothing in your hand. Really good card, really works with this deck obviously. Another very important card is Inazuma. He's a 4-drop, 5k power, 1k counter, and he is an absolute beast. The thing with Inazuma though, both on your opponent's turn and your turn, if you have 1 card or less in your hand, he gets an extra 2k. So he's very helpful towards obviously swinging late game. So another card we have is Mr. 2 Bon Curry. So the difference between him and the other Bon Curry 2k counter that we saw is that this one's searchable by the Buggy effect. So he's part of the Impel Down cards. So don't ever play him on field at all. Only use him as a 2-get counter. The next card we have is Draco Mihawk. It's a 4 cost, 5k power, but 2k counter, which is the most important thing. The next card we have is Croc. He's a 5-drop, 7k power, 1k counter, and we run 4 of him as well. So Luffy is a 6-drop. So when he comes out in the field, he has an on-play effect. So you can trash 2 cards, and then you can bounce a 4 or less back to your opponent's hand, and then he gets double attack. Additionally, what we do predominantly use this for is to disrupt your opponent, because obviously they've got to pay again to bring that blocker out, but also if you're going for late game as well, it's handy to bounce that blocker, and then you've got that double attack too, which occurs. So clear the attack first, obviously, and then you trash your 2 cards, bounce the 4 or less back to the owner's hand, and then that card has a double attack for that turn. The next card I absolutely love. Like, look at this art. I love this guy. It's the Imperial Ivankov. He's a 7-drop, 7k power, and we run 4 of him because he is the key to this deck. If you have less than 3 in your hand, you get to draw up to 3 in your hand, which is great. Also, card advantage is awesome. But the real cool thing with this guy, and you wanna tag teaming with Luffy, is that you can bring out a 6 cost or less Impel Down card. What can I say about this guy? I love him. In this case, the hit that you want to have in your hand at this point in time would be obviously the Luffy. So essentially, you're playing 2 7k swingers for the cost of 7, which is pretty crazy. And that's why with this deck you get a lot of board pressure because of how much you can bring out the field due to Imperio's effect. Let's pop into the events now. So I've got Karmaland here. Karmaland's a pretty vital stage. I know a lot of decks don't run stages. Even this deck, a lot of profiles I've seen don't run stages, but I think it's pretty vital this deck. The way it kind of works is you rest a stage, draw 1, trash 1, and then you can trash up to 3 cards in your hand. 3,000 Worlds! 3,000 Worlds is a 4-drop. It is an event card that allows you to bottom deck a 5 or less. It also does have a trigger effect too, which I might add. Now with this trigger effect, when you bring it out, when it comes out of life, you can bottom deck a 3 or less. It's a great card, but also, in my eyes, a blue staple. The next one we have is another blue staple. It's a 6-drop card. It is Gum Gum Red Rock. So it's a great card. It's come out in OP04, and it's the only card I've added to my deck from that set. So with this, it's so good because it pretty much answers a lot of problems Blue had in the previous sets. So you pretty much, you rest 6 and you can bottom deck anything. How good's that? Anything. Kuzon, gone. So yeah, with this deck overall, I think it's really good. In a lot of ways, it provides a lot of board pressure when you're getting the Ivankov train running, if you want to call that. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, leave a comment below, hit that notification bell, and stay tuned because Duolingo will have more content coming in the near future.